multiplication. We did adding, we did subtracting, let's do multiplication, okay? Now you have to know your basic multiplication table. And I'm going to put that on my website, and you got to go through and fill it out, okay? You should know this stuff. You got to know how to multiply two numbers together, two single numbers together at least, okay? But, so let's take a little bit higher and do bigger numbers, okay? Let's go 25 times 12. Now, the way you do this is you go with the first number for the one to your right, okay? So 2 times 5 is 0, 1 comes up. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now, when you go to the next digit, you got to compensate for this guy. So you add a 0 here for this, and you come up here. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay? So what you have here is 0, 0, 1 comes up, 3. 25 times 12 is 300. Okay? Let's do a bigger number. 3, 5, 7 times 1, 3, 1. Actually, let's change this to a 0. That way you know how to deal with zeros. 1 times 7, 7. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 3, 3. What you do here is, when you're about to multiply this, you got to compensate for this guy, because it's one digit over. You add your 0, and then what you're going to do is multiply these numbers out. 0, 0, 0. 0 times all these becomes 0. So you got 0, 0, 0. Okay? Straightforward. Then you go back to the 1. Now, 1 is 2 digits away from here. So you got to add 2 zeros down here. And then you multiply out. 1 times 7, 1 times 5, 1 times 3. It's all the same thing. So it becomes 3, 5, 7. Now what you do is, you've lined up your numbers and then you add them up. This becomes 7, 5. 7 plus 3 is 10. You carry the 1 up. 1, 0, 5 is 6. And then you have a 3 down here. So your answer, 357 times 101, is 36057. Now, if they add decimals to these numbers, this is much simpler than adding or subtracting, because you don't have to line up your decimals. All you do, for example, let's say this was 3.57 and this was 10.1. So all you do at the end, you count up the number of decimals you have. You got 1, 2 here and 1 here, so that's 3 decimal places. You start from here and you go 1, 2, 3. So 3.51 times 10.1 is 36.057. Okay? Simple as that. We've done adding, we've done subtracting, we've done multiplication. Now we're going to do division. Okay, so we've done adding, subtracting, we've done multiplication. What we're going to do, I'm going to show you, is how to do long division. Okay, by hand. The odds are you're probably not going to use it that much, but it's good to know how to do it. So come on. Let's say you want to divide 257 by 12. Okay. What I'm going to show you how to do is break these down to their prime numbers and cancel things out and reduce it that way. But right now we're going to do it through long division. Okay. That's the long division symbol with the 12 up here and 257 inside. So this basically means 257 divided by 12. Now, how many times does 12 go into 2? Well, it doesn't. So what you do, you move on to the next number. How many times does 12 go into 25? Well, it goes into it twice. So what you do, you put the 2 up here. Now line up your numbers so you know where you are. It's all about order, okay? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay? So what you got now is, you got a 1 down here. 12 doesn't go into 1. So what you got to do is bring down the 7. 12 goes into 17 once. So you put a 1 up here. Line it up with the 7. So this becomes 12. And you're subtracting these. So 2 minus 7 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay? Now 12 doesn't go into 5. So there's 2 ways you can express this. Right now you can say 257 divided by 12 is equal to 21 and 5/12. Okay? So you reduce this fraction into this number. But what you could do is continue on and get a decimal number out of this. So the way you do this is, as soon as you get to the last number and you can't continue on anymore, you put a decimal point here. As soon as you put a decimal point here, you can borrow as many zeros as you want. So what you could do is add a zero down here. Now you ask yourself, how many times does 12 go into 50? Well, 12 goes into 25 twice. So if you multiply 24 by 2, you're going to get 48. So 12 goes into 50 4 times. 4 times 12 is going to be 48. Okay, then you got to subtract these. 8 doesn't go into 0, so you borrow 1 from here. This becomes a 4. That's a 10, so that's 2. Now 12 doesn't go into 2. So what you can do is borrow another 0 because you put your decimal place in. You borrow another 0. How many times does 12 go into 20? Once. So this becomes 12, and you put your 1 up there. 12 minus 20 is 8. Now 12 doesn't go into 8 anymore, and you can continue this. You can continue to add on zeros and continue to take out the decimal place further. Now the odds are you don't have to do it, okay? So just remember how to do this because it uses addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Okay? We'll talk later.